Cloud, Answer the Public, BuzzSumo, Midjourney. What do these all have in common? They're some of the latest AI tools that you need to be looking at if you're in marketing or have a business that you want to grow. All right, welcome everybody. I'm really excited for our guest today. We're going to talk about some fun topics, especially in AI and technology, which is always fun. And I've got Chad Frederick Gilbert. Did I say that right?
You did.
Yeah. All right. With NP Digital. I'm excited to talk to you. You guys have an amazing agency. There's some fun things going on there. But maybe first, if you could start with who you are and what you do.
Yeah, awesome. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. And so, I'm Chad. I am a content marketer by trade. I've been in the industry now for more than a decade, but I got my start in journalism public relations. So that was right out of college for the first few years, did some PR here locally in San Diego, and then transitioned into the digital marketing realm about 11 years ago when that started to take off a little more, and I was able to utilize the education from public relations and journalism, and then parlay that over into the digital space, specifically with another agency that was here in town, and that started that route for me. And now here I am at NP Digital, going on 6 years. I oversee the entire content marketing team, which makes up our digital public relations arm, as well as our content strategy and production teams. Okay,
wow, that's interesting. PR to digital marketing. Mm-hmm. What attracted you?
I think the opportunity at the time. Traditional PR is great, and I was able to do a lot with it, but I feel like there was a bigger space that was opening up in the digital realm where some of the tactics that I learned and that I was utilizing with traditional PR were also going to be able to be used over in this digital space. And then, of course, once I landed a role that was more outreach specific with digital, I was able to learn a lot more about the SEO side of the business and how all of the things are connected online, and then how PR and other forms of outreach and what we call offsite tactics started to grow, and it just started to take off from there.
Yeah, that's interesting. So maybe tell us a little bit, what does NP Digital specialize in, or what are you guys really good at?
Yeah, our core competency is performance marketing, so search engine optimization. We also have a very large paid media, so paid social, paid search arm of our business, and then the content PR side, creative, writing, production, and then connecting stories with partners, influencers, publishers, you name it, that's also within our realm. And then, of course, data and analytics is another big one that kind of underpins all of those channels from a performance and metrics standpoint, and data analyzing the work that we're actually doing for them.
Yeah, wow. Well, content is one of my favorite pieces. At REBL, we love creative content. Tell us, with this new emerging world in AI, especially in marketing, all we're talking about is ChatGPT, and now there's video AI. There's so much AI coming out. What is one of the emerging, or one of your favorite tools that you see that's helping you guys?
Yeah, great question. As you know, ChatGPT kind of dropped a bomb for all of us late last year. We quickly adapted it and started learning what we could use and what we could do with it, specifically in content writing or production. We don't use the tools solely and only for that. We obviously have people who are QAing and running with AI in a responsible way. There's a tool called cloud.ai, so CLAUDE.ai, which is similar to ChatGPT, but the outputs that you get are more conversational and more human-like than what I've come to find on ChatGPT. It's just a little more robotic and liability landmines, if you will, from factual stuff that's not accurate or information that is past dated. So cloud.ai is a better tool for copy and for support with outlining a piece that you might be working on or repurposing content. So say you have a really great article that you've just written and you want to create a video series out of that. Well, you can put this into cloud and you can get it to draft what it would think a 30-minute script would be for a video, if you will. So repurposing content, that's a big one that we're using AI for our clients, so that you get more out of one piece, right, in a faster way.
Okay. So, of course, I read my notes on you before I came, so I looked to see what's the difference between ChatGPT and cloud, and it was interesting. I think you touched on it. There's I don't know if it's somehow it's regulating itself to maybe not use or not allow you to use certain types of language or create certain types of content. Could you talk a little bit? Because I think our audience would be interested, like, what's the difference between chat and cloud?
Yeah, great question. So with cloud, I'm noticing it's a great tool to input a lot more information. ChatGPT, it's hard for it to retain the information or prompts that you're giving it if it's too long or if it's too much information. Cloud is able to you're able to provide cloud with a lot more of that. Or for instance, you can tell cloud, hey, I want you to act like this persona, and here's all the information. Here's a global content brief of information that we would like you to learn, and then we're going to start prompting you based off of this. So that's a lot better at doing that, and there's no cap of the information that you're putting in to cloud versus ChatGPT, which there typically is. And you're right, the language and the type of content and outputs that ChatGPT does versus cloud, it's just a higher quality, more conversational, human-like, and that's typically what we've been finding thus far. And it's also great at providing you research, links, information to help validate what the outputs from cloud are, and ChatGPT doesn't necessarily do that.
Okay. So obviously, I think ChatGPT is probably one of the most popular ones. Hearing about cloud, what are some of the other tools that you guys are using?
Yeah, we are tool agnostic at NP Digital, so we use a plethora of tools, as well as we have our own proprietary tools that Neil Patel and some of his partners have created over the years. Some of my favorites, BuzzSumo is a tool that's really for content research and content landscape and competitor research. So if you want to know what your competitors are publishing in the space, the cadence of them, how much and how often, how long their content is, what kind of engagements are they getting, what social channels do those content pieces perform well in. It's a great snapshot to get information to understand and build a content strategy for your own brand based off of what others in this space might be doing, not to copy, but to see what they're doing and see where the gaps are. So maybe where you can kind of fill in. So that's BuzzSumo. I think they have a free version or a light version, and then they have many different options for paid versions, and of course enterprise level, like agency level access as well.
Okay, no, that's a good one. I'm definitely writing that down.
Yeah,
and don't worry, everyone, we'll put it in the show notes.
And then Answer the Public is another one. It's a tool that Neil Patel actually recently acquired. Answer the Public's been around for decades, I want to say though. So that's been one of my favorites. It's a great one. You can type in some keywords, and it populates a bunch of different relevant questions that your users are actively asking online right now. So really great to fill out some FAQ content to make a piece more robust or more helpful, and in Google's eyes and on search engines, that's what you really want to aim for. And that's also a free tool as well, or free version that you can use, and it's a fun one and gives some good visuals as well to what's going on in the space.
Yeah, I've used that one before, so that's a good one too, definitely. Earlier, we were just talking to our videographer about editing. Are you seeing anything on the video production front?
Yeah, we're so we don't have a big video production arm at NP Digital. We do some light video production in terms of whiteboard explainer videos, some light animations, and we work and collaborate with our clients who have creative teams as well, and then we help kind of package and produce that up. But one thing that we're starting to test out is there's a tool an AI video tool. I just forgot the name. There's a couple of them though, where it's actually populating AI generated humans, and you can pipe in the script you can actually have it train. So you can put your voice into it, train it with your voice, and then give it a script, and then it does the talking head for you, if you will.
Right.
So it's kind of creepy. I mean, we're starting to lean into it and just see if there's any use cases for it for our clients. So that, and then on the graphic side of things, our graphic team, on the paid media team, as well as our creative team on my team, they're starting to utilize tools like Midjourney, which is a graphic tool where you can prompt it to create any graphic image based on whatever you prompt it, and then it'll give you some options to pick from, and then you can start to edit or converse with that tool to make that image better or incorporate it differently. So from a creative standpoint, there's things that we're starting to test, but not necessarily widely using just yet across all of our clients.
Yeah. It's amazing how much is developing. What's like the weirdest AI that you've seen out there? Is there anything that it doesn't have to be marketing?
No, I think the weirdest AI, I think the whole experience of like communicating with AI has been kind of weird or interesting for me.
Yeah.
So like any of the tools where you're prompting it, it's funny. I'm like, can you please do this? Or thanks for that. I'm like, I'm treating it like a human being. Whereas like, so I think that's kind of like that part of it's weird where it's like, I'm actually starting to communicate with these tools and technology like humans. And I know that it's also learning from that experience too. So that AI, and that's kind of like a general like overarching kind of weirdness. But then the video stuff that I've been seeing in terms of like these AI generated people look real right now, and I know it's only going to get more advanced. So kind of strange too of like where that's going to go and how we're going to harness that, and also how we're going to maybe balance and control that for lack of a better term, right? So.
Yeah, and I've seen them. I haven't played with any of those tools. It is interesting. You know, for us, we help our clients try to do the talking head, get on camera, but it's not easy. So I have the same thought. Would these tools help them put it in their voice where they don't have to be on camera? But are you losing?
It could be an option. Yeah.
And very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, for my audience, we've got small businesses, entrepreneurs, owners, marketers. What would you say to them that they should be looking forward into the future for next year? Like, what should they be paying attention to?
So from my perspective in the digital space and in content in general, if you have a website, so I can kind of speak on like that future forward and looking, because so AI is definitely going to be a continued force to reckon with, right? I think that something to look forward to or just stay ahead of is the changing landscape on Google and the search engine. So Google has recently released, not to the masses just yet, but it is slowly releasing their new Google Search Generative Experience, which is going to completely change the search engine result pages. When you type in a keyword and everything pops up there on the listings, there's going to be a lot more changes to that. That's going to push down those organic listings. It's going to move around the paid advertisements where, you know, people are clicking and going to those sites. So thinking about quality content on your site. Is it engaging? Is it informing? Is it educating your users? Really taking a look at what content you're creating and addressing that on site. And then another really big thing to look forward to is how your brand, site, business is being mentioned, linked to from different publishers, from different partners, influencers, social media channels. That's going to be even a bigger play going forward because Google's starting to say, okay, this brand is relevant for these terms and this business because of X, Y, and Z and what's on their site. But if authoritative publishers and partners are also validating content with mentioning you or interviews that you might do on certain publications, that is going to be a heavier weight going forward to be more visible in an organic sense on these search engines, especially Google, which is obviously the biggest one out there, even though they are under an investigation and the monopoly legalities right now. But, you know, same thing happened to Microsoft about 20 years ago or so.
No, that's good. And I think, so everybody listening to that, what do you need to pay attention to? And it's kind of going back to content and, you know, really creating solid, valuable content and working with partners. And it's interesting, too, just the landscape of marketing over the years. So I come out of more traditional, we used to do print and radio ads and TV, and that's all has changed. And it's in some ways I miss it, but now, you know, we've created a world where you can measure things a lot better, you can see results faster, and now we have tools that just are making us more efficient.
Yeah, and even with traditional like marketing, there's still a place for it, right? I mean, it takes 7 or so, even more touch points with an audience member to get them to do something, to have them be aware of something that you're pushing out there. So it just depends on where your audience goes. So if some of the tactics that I've mentioned in terms of outreach on certain publishers online isn't necessarily where your audience is going to get information, find out where they are going and then see how you can infiltrate or work or partner together with other sites or people who are in that space talking to those audiences, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. You got to first understand your audience and know where they're at.
Yep.
Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, as we wrap up here, Chad, do you have just maybe one nugget or anything you want to leave my audience with on what they should be looking at? Gosh, it's already coming to the end of the year. Like, what should we be doing as marketers?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's such a broad question. Let me think on that for a second.
Or maybe like if you were to say that you should learn about this one thing, what would you tell us?
I definitely think you should involve yourself with all the new technology that's around and revolving around AI right now. So test these tools out, take a look under the hood, see how they produce and what they can do for you potentially. I think that's the biggest thing, is just embracing this technology, because it's going to be here to stay. There's going to be a lot more that comes out, down the road with AI. So just being open to the change, because as with any marketing or advertising industry, we're always changing. There's always new things to look forward to or to adapt. And so it's just being ready for that and being open for that.
Good. Yeah, you're right. I think so. It's interesting just from last year. I know, especially with marketers in the agency world, everyone's kind of pushing back, and then you wouldn't tell people, don't tell people you're using it. But now you have to, like, because if you're not using it and not trying to figure it out, you're just going to get behind.
Yeah. And one thing I do want to note is the human touch is always very important still, even with AI. So whether it's creative or writing or anything that you're testing with, never use the output as is.
Yeah.
Always make sure you're passing it through a rigorous human QA and making sure that it abides by all of your brand guidelines, style, tone, voice, all that good stuff. And that's always going to be human. So
yeah. No, very, very good point. That's the one to leave us with for sure. Well, really quickly, you do have an offer, though, for our audience, something that they can use, which I'm excited about. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Of course, yeah. So this week, actually, the last few days, we've been running our virtual marketing summit. It's a global NP digital initiative where we have a lot of speakers from different brands, American Express, Coca-Cola, and others. And in addition, a lot of subject matter experts from our team across the world have come together to do these virtual summits or sessions, and a lot of it is focused on AI in paid media, AI in creative, what we're doing in content, a lot of great information. And so there is a coupon code that we gave, and I believe it's a 30% off of the full summit, and it's a lifetime use case. So if you download it, once you use it, you can have access to any and all of the summit presentations that are provided.
That's great. Well, I'm excited for that. I'm definitely going to be joining that. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chad. Really appreciate you coming today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.